Hey, Brother James, come on up. Come on up. Come on up. This is Brother James from Hawaii. And seems a little odd. Some people were thinking that Kara's going on some type of vacation. That was kind of odd there, the retreat or something like that. But she is going to Scotland and Israel and the missions trip. And I don't know how many of you, when you go on vacation, it's like hanging out with prostitutes, junkies, dopers, New Age, transcendental mentalists, and everything else. But you make sure she has a really good vacation, right? They're just something like that. Many of you like that on your vacation. But, brother, why don't you take a few minutes here and explain to us Hawaii and via Iowa, Hawaii, and then we'll go from there.
Well, first of all, I just want to, thank everybody for welcoming our sons, Josh and Zach and Taylor. Just it's been a great fellowship for them. And in coming out of a Calvary Chapel, they've been very welcome and blessed here. I just wanted to thank Pastor Chick and everybody for, it gives his mom and I just a sense of peace, being 6,000 miles away or so, and not being able to come up here all the time to see them. And so this is the first time we're able to watch them play some baseball. I brought our younger son, Caleb, so we want to thank you guys for being an awesome blessing to them. And we did live in Iowa from 1999 to 2005, planted the second Calvary Chapel in the state of Iowa. Went there in 98. Josh was 10 years old, played on the Hawaii All-Star baseball team. And I met a guy that ran this little gym in Cherokee, Iowa. And then Christian man shared some of the spiritual needs there. And I said, I go to a church in downtown Honolulu. Used to be an old theater, And, we had about 2,500 people or so. God was really blessing in the middle of downtown, near a red light district. And but I said they teach the word, verse by verse, chapter by chapter, book by book. People are welcome, And then he said, you know what, that sounds like a neat ministry. So we started, at that time, CSN. We put in an application for the radio station to be on top of this gym. And make a long story short, some families started to meet. And then I was ordained in 99. And we just took a step of faith and went out to this little rural Cherokee, Iowa, not knowing just other than these families. And Pastor Chick and the other pastors in the Midwest were such a blessing for me, first time pastoring and being in a different culture and everything. But, God blessed. And we, purchased an old post office at that time. It was much like this. Pillars kind of reminds me. We used to do the full-on praise CD. I used to type out the word. We used to, before we had a worship leader, anybody would come out to Iowa. So I used to set up the chairs, right, boys, just like this. Just like this. And so, it's just a real blessing being back out here. But getting to Hawaii, and Kara's coming out there, I was telling Pastor Chick, you just have to be available, and blessed are the flexible, like they say at Calvary, because if you come with expectations to Hawaii, whether you move there or visit there, you're going to get disillusioned really fast, because it is beautiful. It really is. But it's, wherever you go, there's a lot of sin. But we know that, where sin abounds, grace abounds all the more. And because it costs so much just to live there and get by. Unless you make $200,000 a year or so, and even at that, the mortgage payments and everything else, there's a lot of stress. So people are just working and always working double incomes, and it's some people come out there, look for paradise, and the only way they see it is on the bus driving by going to work. So there's a lot of stress. People are more transient now because a lot of local people, the younger generation, if you don't have a house, or if you sold your house like my parents, the younger generations, they're in Nevada, California, any place to find work. So you have a lot of different people coming in and out. Your neighborhoods change a lot. But there's great opportunity because people need to, they realize they need the Lord. And God has blessed our island. Oahu is the main island. It would be kind of like the Minneapolis. It's not it's considered metropolitan there. Waikiki, Honolulu, red light districts, a lot of military bases. You have big Marine base, Pearl Harbor. A lot of guys are getting deployed. A lot of guys are coming back. So anyway, there's just a mixture of a lot of people there. But there's great churches there. There's got to be at least 6 or 7 Calvary chapels. The Calvary that I'm an assistant pastor at, Honolulu, there's the first one there. And it's kind of like the mother church there. We host the conferences and stuff. We built the campus. We have a school, a radio station and stuff. But there's a lot of other Calvary chapels, One Love Ministry right outside of Waikiki. So I'm hoping that Kara's going to stay with this couple in Eva Beach. And Eva is kind of a distance from where our church is at. And she's going to probably have to commute on the bus. But it's like the second best transit system in the United States. But I was telling her, you're going to get a real feel of people, on the bus, looking, meeting people and getting a real feel of the locals. She's going to live around where the locals live. And there's a Calvary Chapel over there just around the block, too. But the couple, Joe and Linda, they've hosted Bible college students and everything. He kind of looks like, I was telling her, a little bit like Einstein. He really does. I mean, if you see this couple, and then Linda, they don't have any kids. They just love the Lord, unbelievably love the Lord. But the thing is, he heads up the street evangelism team. And every Friday night, they go to Waikiki, and he is extremely bold, and yet he loves the Lord. And so he's teaching an evangelism class at our church right now. And they don't look the part, superficially, but they go out every Friday. They've been going out for years. And, and they go out in grace and in truth. So she's going to be blessed, just that on Friday nights alone in Waikiki. But there's quite a few other Christian groups that go do street evangelism down in Waikiki. But as well as, up at our church, there's everything. We have a bookstore and cafe. We have a school. We have a preschool. And we have multiple services. And so we're going to find a place for her. Well, we do the maintenance, Pastor Bill, he cuts the grass. I put on the boys' old cleats, and I'm on the hillside weed eating. That's the Calvary way, right? I mean, you got a nice big campus, but somebody's got to clean the bathrooms and do all that. But, there's going to be things for her to do. But, I'm anticipating her, maybe going out to the other fellowships, North Shore Christian Fellowship there where, right on the North Shore, Mike Stangel's been there for years. And they just planted a church in How many of you ever heard of Sunset Beach? That's where they have like Pipeline over there and all the Triple Crown. They just planted a church. It's been a couple years in the planning, but out at Sunset Elementary. And I know some of the guys out there, and God is really blessing out there. So hopefully she'll be able to go out there and experience different fellowships, small and big, and get a real feel of, but really coming with the whole attitude of, Lord, give me a heart for the people here. Because because it's kind of transient. It's not like your local communities anymore. And so people, they don't know their neighbors so well, and they're just trying to make it. And there's a lot of stress. But at the same time, when you share the Lord with them, and there's not just Calvary's, there's other good churches, the churches are doing well. And so, so that's kind of all in a nutshell. And then in August, we host the Pastor Leaders Conference. We have what is called the End Times Outreach. We've been doing it for like 25 years. And then we have because we have a radio station, the various teachers, Malcolm Wild, Greg Laurie, Raul Reese, and they would come for a day. And then they do like a day seminar. And then each evening, 5 nights, then we have an outreach. And then at the same time, Monday through Wednesday, there's a Pastor Leaders Conference that we host where all the Calvaries from the islands come. So we're going to keep her really busy at that time. But it's a real blessing. We're going to have General Boykin, Jerry Boykin. I don't know if you heard his testimony. Epicenter. He's shared his testimony. And when we have one of these other guys, used to be an ex-terrorist guy, he's going to be sharing and in the evening outreaches. And so that's coming up in August. I was also telling her we planted 2 churches in Japan, in Tokorozawa and Fuchu, and our pastor Bill just went up there last month. They went into Sendai, where you saw the tsunami, and there's Calvaries there, and they kind of got together, just put in some supplies, and Pastor Bill went up there for a week, gave a report, just came back. I think another team is going out in May sometime to go out there and just help clean up some of the houses. There's all kind of, I don't know how many, 100 or so, not refugee, but, places where the people are just getting, basically they're eating miso soup and rice, getting the basics. But the Calvary guys came in, and they're from Hawaii, so they like the barbecue. They brought barbecue meat, fish. Spam? Yeah, spam too. Yeah, I don't know about spam, but yeah. Just to minister to the people. They found a piano that was overturned, was in good condition, set it up, and just started praying praise and worship outside of the center where people are staying, just bringing joy. Bringing washers and dryers and things like that. So, so they were saying there was a lot of tragedy for people. Some people lost their whole families. Some places only had 15 minutes to respond after the earthquake and then the tsunami hit. So they did some interviews and they videoed it for us. But there was great testimonies of people being saved physically. And so there's a real opening now because the Japanese people are very self-sufficient, got it together. There's been an opportunity for the guys that have been laboring there for a long time to go in and minister compassion, and we're praying that churches are planted in those areas. So I told Kara if she wanted to go up, you can. And they're looking for English teachers too, especially in Fuchu. That's how a lot of the guys go in on a visa, teach English, but they minister there. So anyway, thanks.